Hello, it's Dr. Bettina here. We've had a number of letters from parents asking about how to build resilience in their children. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. We should start by thinking about what resilience is. Resilience is actually a way of handling stress. We are resilient if we can do hard things and if we bounce back when hard things happen to us. Notice it is not about being bulletproof or unreactive. It actually comes from taking risks and managing hard situations. Notice also that it's not a fixed trait. It's something that's actually developed through the small events of everyday life. So if you feel like you have a child who is not resilient enough, listen up. I've got 5 top tips for how to train resilience in your children. Tip number 1 would be to help your child practice facing challenges. So if resilience comes from doing hard things, parents need to encourage kids to face challenges and do those hard things. Now, if your child is struggling, it can be really tempting to jump in and do things for them. Of course, we love our kids and we want to protect them. But when you do that, you inadvertently stop them from developing these resilient skills themselves. So let's say your child comes to you and says, I'm having difficulty with a friend. What I would encourage you to do is to listen and validate and absolutely offer space for them to work it out, but don't fix it for them. You might say, gosh, how did that make you feel? And what do you think could be done? Now, you're encouraging them to develop these problem solving skills, which is such a great thing to give them as they go through life. So, when you teach them to handle adversity independently, with you alongside, holding them while they do it, then you are really developing their emotional resilience skills. Tip number 2, allow for discomfort. When we're in this place of deep learning, it often feels very uncomfortable. It might be familiar to you. It's a kind of horrid feeling in your tummy. And if our kids are to become resilient, they have to learn to tolerate that place of not knowing or struggle. So tell them, compassionately, it feels uncomfortable, and tell them that they can do it. Now, this needs to be developmentally appropriate and it needs to be just outside of their comfort zone. That's where that deep learning happens. For neurodiverse kids, I mean, for all kids, but particularly neurodiverse kids, it means really knowing where their skills are and supporting them to go just beyond their reach so that it stretches them, but it doesn't break them. It's not too much. So let's say you have a child who's doing a maths sheet and they come to a question that they're really struggling with and they throw their arms up and they say, I can't do this. What I would suggest you do is sit with them and say, I think you can do it. Shall we just do one more together? So you push them a little bit. And then the next time you might do 2. And then the next time you might do 3. Let's say you have a child who's really trying to get the ball in the basket in basketball or something, and they become fed up with it and they're in that horrible discomfort zone. Say to them, have 5 more throws, and let's see how you do. And then come back tomorrow and try again. It's actually much easier to do this when your child is internally motivated, when they want to become good at getting the basket in the ball. May not be so easy when you're doing maths if they're not motivated to do maths. But they can do it in both situations, and we can sit with them and encourage them to just sit in that zone of discomfort for a little bit. It's just such an amazing skill to teach your child. Tip number 3, promote a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the idea that abilities and skills develop through repetition and through practice. A fixed mindset way of thinking says, I can't do it now and I'm never going to be able to do it. A growth mindset way of thinking says, oh, this is hard. I've just failed. This is feeling really uncomfortable. But if I persevere and try again, I really believe that I'll get there. And you can see what a difference that would make. In fact, that is actually how our brains learn. It learns through repetition. The more we do things, the more competent we become at that skill. And we can actually teach kids that. That's the way in which you grow your brain, is by repeating, 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 and particularly doing the hard things as in tip number 2, that zone of discomfort. Tip number 4, mind your own language. Communication is really key when it comes to building resilience. Our responses and the phrasing tells a child whether an obstacle is possible to overcome or it's something to shy away from. For example, there's this amazing research that shows that the way that you speak to your child when they are stressed has the power to make that stress bigger or smaller. If your child tells you that they're stressed and you say to them, oh, gosh, okay, take a rest, just sit down, I wouldn't go, you give them the message that is dangerous and something that they shouldn't be doing. If when they tell you you're stressed, you say, oh, wow, gosh, that means your body's going to be really ready to perform the best it can, then that gives them the message, okay, a little bit of stress is a good thing, and a bit of stress is a good thing. Now, we don't invalidate their feelings, but we reframe the idea that stress is bad and dangerous, and it helps their body meet the challenges that they need by giving them this exceptional energy in order to meet the new challenge. And tip number 5 is to build strong connections. Becoming resilient is hard, as you can tell. And if you want your child to go far, then you have to cultivate a strong base camp for them to be really grounded. And through your relationship, you can create this safe space where they can discuss their frustrations, where they can manage those tough feelings effectively. And then they can go out on the big adventures that they need to do, be really strong and overcome any barriers, knowing that you're right there behind them. I hope these tips have been helpful. Please keep listening to Nip in the Bud for any more ideas. And do send us any letters if there's anything that you're really struggling with. We'd be really happy to help and see if we have some ideas for you.